You're one of the prides of Baltimore. If there's only one table at a restaurant in Baltimore, Cal Ripken wants it, Carmelo Anthony wants it, Joe Flacco wants it, and you want it.
Yeah, you gotta throw Ray in there too. Come on, man.
Ray Lewis?
You gotta throw Ray in there.
Well, if we throw Ray in there, he may throw all of you out the window. Who gets the table?
We'll probably all share. 'Cause I think that's how Baltimore is. I mean, one thing I've learned from growing up in Baltimore is we support all of our athletes, all of our sports figures. So yeah, I think we would all try to get the biggest table possible, and we would all share it together.
So there really is a fraternity there. You know all those guys,
yeah.
interact with all those guys.
And why I throw Ray in there is because Ray is, I guess, most inspirational person I've had over the last 4 years. And you know, if it wasn't for him, I would never have came back for these last 4 years.
Really?
So.
What in general would Ray Lewis have said to you to help you make the decision and commit again?
You know, for me, it was something cool to be able to hear it from another athlete. You know, somebody who has had, you know, ups and downs on the field, off the field, and he just gave me some things to think about more. Just think about everything before you make the final decision.
Here comes Phelps battling to the wall. Will he even get on the podium? No!
You finished 4th in the 400 IM. You'd been out-touched and taken a silver in the 200 fly. You were still right there, but not quite at your previous level. And it seemed to me like you were almost accepting that. But then there was a late kick, and you finished with the golds draped around your neck. If that hadn't happened that way, would there have been something unsatisfying about it all?
No, because what happened at this Olympics was what I prepared myself for. You know, could I have been at more workouts? Yes. Could I have shown up on time, up on time more often? Sure. I prepared for these Olympics how I wanted to. You know, I completed everything I ever wanted to. I became the greatest of all time. I did everything I ever set my mind to.
But Missy Franklin, raking to the wall in lane 5. Is her first individual medal going to be gold? Yes!
Isn't it pretty?
You were one of the fresh faces of the U.S. Olympic team. Michael Phelps was one of the elder statesmen. So you intersected. You on the way in, he on the way out. What did you get from that experience?
There was so much I learned from Michael. I think first and foremost, after this summer in swimming 7 events, my respect for him, for what he did in Beijing, I mean, it's hard to comprehend what he had to do to accomplish that. I did 7 events, and I only medaled in 5 of them, and they weren't even all gold. And so for him to do...
4 were gold.
4 of them were.
Gold,
I got my little
bronze. And a couple out of the money, so to speak.
I'm not complaining at all. I am thrilled with that. I'm beyond happy, but just to see what he did was unbelievable. And we were joking around after the last day of the meet. I think he has something crazy like 56 world records or something insane like that.
It is insane.
Yeah, and so he kind of looked over at me and was like, all right, let's see what you can do. I was like, all right, you set the bar pretty high.
Here comes Missy Franklin, well ahead of the world record line. And this time, it's going to be a world record from Missy Franklin.
You embody the reason why so many people like the Olympics. There's something about someone like you that's so genuine and kind of comes out of nowhere. And people love that. They're responding, A, to the performance, but they're also responding to the person.
Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible. I think one of the biggest kind of moments for me, especially emotionally, was Halloween. Even in my neighborhood, I would be opening the door and handing out candies to, little me's. And I was just like, this is
Hello, mini-me.
It was just so cool.
Missy Franklin, she said you weren't just kind to her. You were more than that. You really were a mentor to her. Do you agree with a lot of people who say the new face of American swimming is Missy Franklin?
I mean, it's hard not to. Ryan, obviously, on the male side. You could throw Nathan in there as well. That's the kind of thing about this team now, is there are just so many people that are eager to step up and ready to go. And that's something that is very, very exciting to see. And actually, I'm having chills in my body thinking about what's going to happen over the next 4 years.
So here you sit, wearing a T-shirt of the Cal Bears.
Yes.
You've made your decision. When we spoke in London, it was down to a handful of schools. You decided on Cal.
I did.
Why?
So many reasons. So many reasons. I think the most important one to me was as soon as I walked on that campus, I felt like I was home.
At least in the short term, You give up a lot of money, endorsements and appearance fees and whatnot. You were aware of that, obviously, when you made the decision. What did you have to weigh, and how difficult was that decision?
There was so much to weigh. I mean, it's obviously, there was a lot of money that could have possibly been on the table. And I think it's really fun being a professional athlete and having sponsors and flying to do these awesome events. But at the end of the day, we really, truly felt that college would be more of a benefit than all of this money that I could possibly be getting. And I completely stay strong to that.
Terry McKeever was your Olympic coach.
She was.
She is the coach at Cal. But I understand that when you called, you punked her first.
I did, actually. I thought that I'm going to have fun with this. So when I called to commit, I made it seem like I had committed somewhere else because I knew that Terry had a pretty good idea that, I was going there. She really, really wanted me to.
So you were breaking the news to her and sort of trying to console her, right?
I was. So I called her and I laid it on thick. I pulled the whole, thank you so much for everything. I had such a wonderful time. I know this is going to come as a complete surprise to you, but... I need to follow my heart. I had dramatic pauses in there.
It's almost like breaking up with a boyfriend.
It was.
Right?
It was. And then, I told her I knew that in my heart I couldn't
we'll
be
always
anywhere
be
else in Cal.
friends. We had a wonderful time.
I had a great time. I don't regret a thing, but...
Right. And it's me, not you. You didn't do anything wrong. It's me.
It's just me.
Yeah.
And it is the end of an era, the most dominant in Olympic history, and it's pure gold.
In Rio, will you be a presence there?
I'll be there. I won't be swimming. But I'll be
No,
there.
I know you won't be swimming, but will you be actively involved? Not just in the stands cheering them
No,
on,
I will.
actively involved,
I would like
around
to.
the practice sessions, everything else.
I would like to. The 2012 Olympic team was probably the closest Olympic team we've ever had. It's funny to say this now, but the Call Me Maybe video, that video brought all of us together.
It's hard to look right at your baby, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Hey,
There are some of us that probably didn't want to do it. We felt kind of weird doing it.
Right.
I think it really just shows how we are as a team, and we're growing even more as a team. It's going to be exciting to see what they do in 2016 in Rio.
but here's my number, so call me maybe.
So for the next 4 years, and we assume well beyond Rio, Michael Phelps will be doing a whole lot of golfing and any number of other dry land activities. As for Missy Franklin, before she goes to Cal, she's actually got to finish high school. And right now, she is in fact a member of the Regis Jesuit Academy Raiders.